Hello investors, welcome back to the Trend Trader channel. Today is Thungela Day. Let's talk Thungela. We saw that Thungela came out with their result. It's finally a result. People were looking forward to this result. We were also looking at how the market is going to react when there's a result come out. Remember, some companies usually they will start by releasing trading statements before they come up with the result. So some of the numbers we already had an idea what they were going to be, but until everything is official, everything is just rumors. So before we go to dive into Thungela result, I would like to ask those who haven't subscribed to please consider subscribing, and if you find value in this video, please make sure that you smash that like button. If you have any comment or suggestion or anything that you want to share with us, please leave a comment in the comment section. So you can go to the Thungela website. The information that we are looking for, you're gonna find it under investor relations, because when you go to the website as it is, it's just a typical corporate website with everything that you might be interested in. But for investment or for investors purposes, we're interested in the investor relations tab. So from here we can download the annual result presentation. This was held on the 27th of March 2023, and there's even a recorded session so that you can see what other investors were asking. So the document that you're going to be looking at is this annual result presentation. So just at the beginning of that document, you can easily see a nice summary of everything that the company wanted to talk about. So this is a 2022 annual result and strategy update. So it's for the final year ended on the 31st of December 2022. There's a lot of things that they are saying. The most important thing whenever you're reading a company statement is that it is a forward-looking statement. This basically means that everything that is said in the document, besides the previous information, is that it's based on numerous assumptions. So some of these things, they might happen, they might not happen, because remember, at the end of the day, nobody can predict the future. Definitely, we can always try to speculate on things, but we can't predict the future. One important thing that you can see here in this slide, their highlight, is that the metric tons of coal that they were exported. We can see that in 2021, the pro forma of about 15 metric tons, and then in 2022 it was 13.1. That was a slight decrease, but also there is a price of coal in addition to this, because every ton of coal that they sell it at a certain price. Okay. So now when you look at the financial performance, the most important thing, the profit for the period, it's an 18.2 billion. It's almost a 3 times increase from the previous 6.9 billion of 2021. So it is a nice jump from 7 billion to about 18.2 billion. And also the operating free cash flow of 18.1 billion. When you look at the cash that they have, remember, in our previous video where we're looking at meta-analysis, we spoke about the importance of a company having cash. So we can see that Thungela has a cash or a net cash of about 14.7 billion. This cash could be used for any other thing. They could use it for investment. They can use this cash to pay dividend. A lot can be done, or even share buybacks. All those things are possible if a company has net cash. And then because most of us are investors or traders or shareholders, we're interested in dividend. We can see that Thungela is going to pay dividend of 40 rand per share, not 100 rand. Previously, they paid 60 rand per share on the interim period, and now in the final period, they are paying 40 rand per share. So it's a total of 100 rand per share that the investors are going to receive. So on the 40 rand per share dividend declaration, remember there's 20% dividend withholding tax. That means that 8 rand is going to go to SARS. So as a shareholder, you can expect to receive 32 rand after you have paid tax. Guys, it's important to pay tax. We can't stress that any much. So now when you're looking at this financial and operating highlight, again, some of the figures are the same. We can still see the same profit of 18.2 billion. the export coal of 13.1 metric ton. The cost of coal, I think this is an average, it was about 1008 rand per ton that they were receiving, and then the full year dividend of 100 rand per share. So now we see that it's about 76% of the adjusted operation cash flow. And the thing that is important for investors is the earnings per share. That means that for every share that you own as a shareholder, your share in theory it earned about 127 rand, and that is comparable to about 61 rand for year 2021. So the earnings per share has doubled when you compare it on year-on-year basis. So it's a good thing. We are happy with these numbers. All these numbers are exciting. And there are a lot of things that they talk about. Now we're looking at the price of thermal coal. Remember that they produce thermal coal, so it's important that you look at the price of thermal coal. Now looking at the price of thermal coal, what we can see that from January 2020, the price of thermal coal has been increasing, especially during the beginning of the Ukraine-Russian conflict. The price of coal, it really shot up because people were expecting that the Western European countries were going to suffer in case of energy, because now they were not able to import energy from Russia. But you can see that from around July 2022, the price of thermal coal started to peak. It moved sideways a bit before it started to crash around October 2022. So at this moment, we see that the price of coal is also trying to pick up a bit here. So it is important that as a Thungela investor, you do pay attention to the price of thermal coal, because it's not just about how much coal Thungela is producing and exporting. It is also about how much money they are receiving per ton of coal there. So we see the last bullet point that says that the demand from China, it decreased in the last quarter. So we don't know what that means for the future or for the next earnings report that will come from Thungela. So we've already covered the important stuff. The important stuff basically is how much money they are making, and then how much money is going to be distributed to shareholders. But you can go ahead and read the whole document and find all the other important information. If you really want to go back and look at these numbers, I suggest that you download the document or you pause the video here so that you can look at these figures. Right, this is just coming from a presentation. It's not the full financial statement like the income statement, balance sheet, and the cash flow statement, but this is enough for the purpose of this video. Now let's go and look at the chart, because remember, we are interested in charts. So previously when they came out with those results, so those results that they came out with were June result, so they came around September. You can see that in September the price of Thungela was still somewhere around 180 rand per share, but since then the share price has been declining, coming all the way to the high of just shy of 100. Okay, this is LSE. We are not looking at the JSE. Let's make sure that you are looking at the correct chart. The prices, we know it, the chart, it looks the same, it's just the price that is different. So we see that somewhere around September the share price, it peaked to just below 400 rand per share, and then there was that gap down. Since then the share price, either it moved sideways or it has been dropping. So when they came out with those previous interim result, we made a video saying that do we expect the share price of Thungela to continue to go up after the dividend payment? At that time the share price was just below 300 rand per share. You can see that the price hasn't traded above 320 or 300 rand per share. It has been moving sideways, and because we're constantly looking at the share price, we noted that the share price was coming to this support level. We also released a video, we shared a couple of charts. We're expecting the share price to bounce up there or to either fall. You can see it's clear that it fell, coming back to these previous support levels here, of which it held for quite some time. You see that the share price broke lower and then it came back to retest that previous support, which became a resistance level. So now what we see is that since this retest here, the share price has been moving lower. So for today, what we wanted to see, how was the share price was going to trade. Was the share price going to break above this 210, or the share price was just going to break below this level here around 175 rand per share. Now you can see that it is clear it came to test this level before buyers started to push the price back to where it was last week Friday, to about 192 rand per share. So now the price at this moment, it is still stuck in limbo. The share price can still come back to trade above 200 rand per share, or the share price can come back and trade somewhere around 170. Just a quick disclaimer, we don't have a position on Thungela, so we are sitting on the sidelines. We are comfortable that we're gonna miss the dividend, because when we made that video to say was Thungela going to continue to move up after they paid the previous dividend, at that time we haven't had an opportunity to buy. Well, in our account we do have money to buy the shares. It's just that we haven't got a proper setup for buying a position, and we are saying that in the context of trading for investors, especially value investors. Well, you guys you approach the market differently, so whenever you see lower prices, to you it means a different thing as compared to traders. So again, what we're looking for here, we're looking to see if Thungela is gonna be able to come back and claim this level here. Once Thungela trade above this level, then we might be interested in taking a long position, but at the moment we are not interested in taking a position, because like we said, the share price can jump up there, or the share price can still continue to trade lower. And another thing to keep in mind is that since the company is going to pay that 40 rand dividend, we saw in the past that it happens for some companies, not for every company, that on the ex-dividend date, the share price, it drops by the amount of dividend that is going to be paid. Just to give an example, if we say the share price is 192, then we can expect a drop to 152 on the ex-dividend date. We're not saying that the share price is going to drop from 192 to 152. We are making an example based on the current share price and the dividend that they are going to pay. And also do keep in mind that if the share price it starts to move up, it doesn't matter where the price will be on the day of the ex-dividend. It is only on the day that it's not something that is definitely going to happen. So in terms of price action, we still don't have a position on Thungela, because the share price at this moment, we see that the downward movement is still in there. We really want to see more buyers coming to push the share price. We can see the price is just at this level, at that previous low. At least if it can come and close above this level, then we can start to be interested. Until then, we are not interested in taking a long position, but that is from a trader's perspective. From a value investor perspective, it could be different things, and we are interested in knowing how value investors are going to handle this position. So that's it for today. We just wanted to briefly touch on the Thungela finally result, and then also to look at the chart and to see where what can we do with the information that is presented to us. Again, if you found value in this video, please smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you have anything that you would like to add, please leave it in the comment section. We will see you in the next video.